Half the things people are buying today will be worthless in a real economic collapse. Not down a little, not on sale, worthless. Money stops moving, credit dries up, jobs vanish, and the stuff that looked smart in good times turns into dead weight. But most people are still spending like nothing will ever change. Therefore, they are setting themselves up to get crushed. Today, you'll see 5 common purchases that become almost useless when the economy breaks. If you already bought some of these, you need to know how they fail you. Later on, I'll also show you one smart purchase that almost everyone gets wrong in a collapse. Most people think it will save them. It does the opposite. Big idea. Your needs flip overnight. In a real crisis, needs flip fast. Right now, you care about comfort status, looking successful. In a collapse, you care about food, shelter, cash flow, safety. The problem is simple. People are buying for today's life, but they are not ready for tomorrow's pain. You may think, at least I own things. That's better than cash. But some things are just anchors when income falls and credit dies. So let's go through the 5 worst purchases one by one, and watch how each of them quietly works against you when times get hard. Controversial truth. In a collapse, owning more can make you poorer faster. Purchase number 1, the new car on a long loan. Picture this. You walk into a dealer. You drive out with a brand new car. 7-year loan, tiny monthly payment. It feels smart. The car is shiny. The tech is nice. Your payment fits your budget. But here's the trap. In a collapse, the payment stays the same. Your income does not. You may lose your job. Your hours get cut. Your side work dries up. The bank does not care. The car loan is still due every month. If you miss enough payments, the car gets repossessed. They take it in the night. You are left with no car and wrecked credit. You might say, but I need a reliable car. That part is true. Breaking down is not safe either. However, a reliable car is not the same as a new car on a huge loan. A cheaper, older, well-kept car can be just as safe, but with a much lower payment, or even no payment at all. In a collapse, what matters most is flexibility, not how nice your ride looks at a red light. Therefore, the big, long auto loan is one of the first purchases to turn useless. The car is there, but you can't afford to keep it. Pattern interrupt. In a real downturn, your car is not an asset. It is a bill with wheels. Later in this video, I'll tell you the one car move that actually helps you in a crash. Most people never think of it. Purchase number 2, the bigger house you stretch for. Many people think like this. Rent is dead money. Owning a home is always safe. A bigger house is a better investment. That sounds good during a boom. Banks say yes. Real estate agents cheer. So you stretch. You buy more house than you really need. Higher price, higher taxes, higher insurance, higher bills. When the economy is strong, it feels fine. You can make the payment. You enjoy the space. But then the collapse hits. Your job is not as safe as you thought. Your bonus is gone. Your partner's hours are cut. The mortgage does not care. Property taxes do not care. Repair costs do not care. You are locked into a huge fixed cost each month. Your income is no longer fixed. You might say, but my house will go up in value. I can always sell. That is what everyone says. However, in a real crash, buyers disappear. Banks tighten lending. People cannot get loans. House prices fall, or they just sit. You can't sell at the price you want. Sometimes you can't sell at all. Therefore, your investment becomes a cage. You are trapped in a big, expensive box you cannot move or unload. A smaller, more modest home with a lower payment is far safer, even if it looks less impressive to friends and family. Pattern interrupt. Your home is your best asset, is only true in good times. In a collapse, your best asset is the freedom to adjust. Purchase number 3, high-end tech and fancy gadgets. New phone, new TV, new laptop, new game system. Tech feels amazing. It makes life fun. It makes work easy. But here's the hard truth. In a deep economic crisis, none of these things feed you. They do not lower your bills. They do not keep the lights on. People spend thousands each year chasing the latest upgrade, yet they have no savings, no food store, no backup cash. In normal times, that just means they live paycheck to paycheck. In bad times, it means they have no buffer at all. You may think, but I need a good phone and a good laptop to work. Sometimes that is true. If your job depends on it, you do need tools. However, there is a big gap between a solid mid-range phone that works and a brand new $1,500 phone on a payment plan. During a collapse, top of the line becomes top of the waste list. Gadgets lose resale value fast. People stop buying toys when they worry about food and rent. Therefore, most high-end tech turns into useless clutter. It once ate your savings. Now it just sits in a drawer. Pattern interrupt. Your $2,000 phone will not save you. A $200 food stash will. In a minute, I'll share one very cheap tech item that becomes gold in a crisis. Almost no one buys it when times are good. Purchase number 4, status symbols and lifestyle flex. Let's be honest, a lot of what people buy is not for need, it's to signal. Designer clothes, luxury watches, handbags, fancy shoes, weekend trips for the gram. These things send a message: I am doing well, I am winning. But during an economic collapse, that message turns dangerous. First, these items are very hard to sell. In a downturn, almost no one is buying high-end fashion or status toys, and if they do, they want them dirt cheap. So the moment you need cash, that $3,000 bag becomes a $200 pawn shop item. Your $10,000 watch becomes a $1,000 lowball offer. There is almost no real value in them when money is tight. You may think, but these hold value over time. I can always resell. Maybe in slow, normal markets, not in panic mode. In a crisis, buyers want food, fuel, tools, cash, metals. They do not want your logo. Second, being the flashy person in a poor crowd can paint a target on your back. People are scared. Some are angry. Showing off wealth when others are hurting is not just rude, it can be unsafe. Therefore, status buys not only become useless, they can also increase your risk. Pattern interrupt. Flexing in a collapse is like waving steak in a starving crowd. It does not make you powerful, it makes you bait. Purchase number 5, auto pay. Drains and nice-to-have subscriptions. Now we get to the sneaky one. The real danger is not always the big one-time buys. It is the small monthly leaks. Streaming services, premium apps, gym memberships you never use, box subscriptions, buy now, pay later plans, software you forgot you had. Each one is only $10, $20, $30 a month. They feel small, they feel safe, but stack 10 of them. That's $200 to $300 every month. Add a few zero-interest payment plans. Now you're at $400, $500 more. In normal times, you can manage it. In a collapse, that money would feed you. You might think, I'll just cancel if things get bad. That sounds easy. However, in a crisis, you are already stressed. You may overlook charges. Some are hard to cancel. Some sneak back in. And every dollar you waste on non-essentials is a dollar you don't have for food, heat, or gas. Therefore, in a downturn, these subscriptions become useless and dangerous. They do nothing for your safety. They quietly drain your last bit of cash. Pattern interrupt. The goal in a collapse is not new income. It is less outgo. Later, I'll give you a simple 3-question test to decide if any payment is safe to keep. The secret good purchase that becomes a trap. Now let's deal with that good purchase I teased earlier, the one many people think is safe, the one that often turns into a trap. That purchase is the big emergency stockpile you never use and never rotate. This might shock some of you. Food storage is good, water storage is good, basic supplies are smart. But there is a difference between a planned, used, rotated stock and a giant panic purchase that just sits. People watch scary news, they rush out. They buy random food, gear, and tools they never learn to use. Then years pass. The food goes bad. The seeds dry out. The tools rust. They spent thousands. In a real collapse, half of it does not work or is unsafe to use. You might say, but at least I have something. That is only partly true. If you never practice with your gear, you won't know how to use it under stress. If you never cook with your stored food, your body may not handle it well. Therefore, even an emergency kit purchase can become useless if it was bought from fear, not from a plan. Pattern interrupt. Buying prep is not the same as being prepared. So what actually matters in a collapse? We have talked about what becomes useless. Now we have to talk about what holds value. In almost every collapse in history, a few things matter most. Cash on hand, at least at first. Short, low fixed costs. Food and water. Tools that can make or fix things. Basic medicine and supplies. strong local ties and skills. Notice what is not on that list. Brand new cars with giant loans, big fancy houses with huge payments, designer items, endless, fun subscriptions, the absolute latest tech toy. You cannot eat a logo. You cannot trade a streaming account for gas. You cannot pay your mortgage with a game console. But you can trade food. You can trade time, skills, and labor. You can sleep better knowing your monthly bills are low. Therefore, the real power move before a collapse is not a new shiny purchase. It is cutting down the wrong ones. The 3-question test before any purchase. Here's the simple test I promised. Use this before any big buy and many small ones too. Question 1. If I lost half my income, would this still make sense? If the answer is no, you are buying for comfort, not safety. Question 2. Does this lower my future costs or raise them? A used car bought in cash may lower future costs. A new car on a 7-year loan raises them. A smaller house may lower costs. A bigger house raises them. If it raises future costs, be careful. Question 3. In a hard crash, will people still want this? Food? Yes. Fuel? Yes. Basic tools? Yes. Designer shoes? Maybe not. Extra streaming? No. Latest phone? Only at a huge discount. If people would not want it in a crisis, why does future you need it now? Controversial truth. Your future self is a different person. Spend like you care about that person. The one car move that helps you earlier. I said there is one car move that actually helps in a crash. Here it is. If you are deep in a big car loan, but the car is still worth more than the loan amount, consider trading down now. Sell or trade the car. Buy a cheaper, solid used car. Use the extra money to pay off debt, build savings, or buy true essentials. You go from one nice car and a huge payment to one okay car and much more room in your budget. It may feel like going backwards, but in a collapse, lower fixed costs mean you survive longer. The cheap tech that becomes gold. Here's that cheap tech item that becomes gold in a crisis. It's not a new phone, not a new laptop. It is simple, rugged backups. Examples: a small battery or hand crank radio, extra phone chargers and power banks, simple flashlights with plenty of batteries. These are not toys. They help you get news, see in the dark, and keep basic contact. They cost far less than the latest gadget, but in a blackout or bank run, they matter more. Again, the question is, does this help me if things get rough? Final warning and action steps. Most people will not change anything. They will keep buying the same stuff. They will keep maxing cards and stacking payments. They will say, if a crash comes, I'll deal with it then. But when a true collapse hits, you do not get time to fix old choices. You only live with them. So here are your action steps. List your big payments: car, house, major loans. Ask, can I shrink any of these before trouble hits? Audit your subscriptions. Cancel anything that does not help you in a job loss or crisis. Be ruthless. Stop buying status. For the next year, skip designer and flex buys. Shift that money to savings, food, or tools. Practice with what you already have. If you have prep gear, learn to use it now. Rotate your stored food. Run the 3-question test on every new purchase. You do not control the economy. You do control how exposed you are to it. The goal is simple. When other people panic, you stay calm because you cut the useless buys early. Most viewers will click away and do nothing. A few will act. In every collapse, those few come out stronger. Which one will you be?